Are you live?
All right. Good morning, beautiful people, family. Good morning. We're glad you're here. My apologies for being a little tardy. I was doing some reading and some research this morning and lost track of time. That's completely my fault. So I owe you all 50. You'll get them in a few minutes. um, but let's jump right into it. Good. I ain't going nowhere from Philadelphia. Good. Peace and blessings, family. We are. We have to do a little bit better job. We have to do a better job, not a little bit better job. We have to do a much better job of um, raising our young people to have a different outlook on life, right? And I'm saying that to know you know, baby, you're still here because we just started. So I'm saying that to say, because where I work, where I teach at, I see some little children that have this whole mentality of already having this aggressive overtones. And it's okay to be warriors, but the mere fact that they think it's okay to attack each other um, is going to be a much greater problem later on in their life. What do I mean by that? If you get a kid that's already trying to bully somebody in their first grader or second grader, excuse me, and and as a teacher and as a historian, I see where that can end up. Okay, I see where that can go because I've seen too many of them, too many, and it's not a playful type of, I'm teasing you playfully. It's an aggressive, playful. I mean, it's aggressive behavior. And it's okay for that child to be a warrior. I don't have an issue with that. But what's not okay is that that we're attacking we're attacking each other. I'm gonna say it that way because that's what it is. This one particular child has been aggressive with other students, aggressive with other staff, sometimes myself included. But because I teach a class that we have fun in, he'll kind of tone it down. But it's always a mix of something else. Now, that doesn't mean that during some of the time, and I wish I had more time, that I couldn't help redirect his energy, redirect his focus. But that also has to be helped by his home life too. So if he has a home life that says, hey, it's okay to talk about people, it's okay to have these types of behaviors, and those behaviors don't get changed and redirected. If we're doing that in second grade, what's it going to look like in fourth grade? What's it going to look like in eighth grade? What's it going to look like in 12th grade? What's it going to look like on the streets? What's it going to look like when you go to a store? Are you going to find a group of boys and y'all become, little brothers or whatever? And then next thing you know, y'all rolling around and y'all treating people this way. That's no different than the lady, and I'm going to bring this up. The lady in Chicago, her and her son got beat up by a bunch of young people that were not even high school because they wanted to initiate her son into a gang and she wouldn't let them. That's problematic. That's where we're preying on each other. We're imploding inside. And it's okay. So if a kid says I don't want to do that, then you're gonna force them to do it anyway. And then when a mother trying to be some sense of protection walks her kid to and from school to make sure he's safe, she gets jumped as well. And these are 8 or 10 young men who jump on her, beat her up, hospitalize her and the boy. That's internal stuff. Now, if she had something to defend herself and took some lives, then she was wrong. That's no different than the young men in Georgia who decided at 4 o'clock in the morning, and they're 14, 15, 16, somewhere between the ages of 15 and 18. They decide to get up and go try and break in people's houses. And then when they get unalived, people want to be mad. Well, oh, that was my brother, and he was such a good kid. No, he wasn't a good kid because he did some dumb shit. He decided along, and it was 2 cases that I know of. The case in Chicago, go look it up, about a mother and son who get beat up by a gang of middle schoolers, which means they're between the ages of 13, 14, 15. And her son was like 9 or 10. A little kid, a little boy. So how in the world is it okay for us to claim, or the families to claim, oh, that was my little brother, and he's a good kid. And I'm not saying he's not a good kid. We're not saying that. But what did he do? What in the world made you decide to pick up a gun and go with your boys or cousins or whoever you're related to, go and kick somebody's door in for fun at 4 o'clock in the morning? That's not being a good person. I don't know who the hell you think you're raising like that. For me, that'd have been a 5-minute funeral. His ass was stupid. I'm doing a eulogy. Okay, once y'all sit down, I'm sorry. This is a genetic mistake. My fault. Dump his ass in a hole. We ain't gonna say nothing about he gave his life to God. We ain't gonna say nothing. What the hell you gonna say about that type of foolishness? We're imploding inside. And we should be, most of us who study are clear where this is coming from. Because we're being predators against each other. Because we refuse to show our anger towards the other people, because the other people that really caused it are acting like, oh, it's something that you got to deal with because we didn't have anything to do with what's going on now. Yes, you did. But that too is a whole nother story and topic. But there was 2 cases again in Georgia, and the homeowner is at home. He protects himself and his family and his property. You're gonna be mad at? How you gonna be mad to have an outrage and have the community come out and support you when your sons are out doing something stupid like that? And both times there were young men of color who broke into persons of color's home at 4 o'clock in the morning. That's one thing to go and TP a house or whatever and go ring a doorbell at 4 o'clock in the morning and run off. But now you had a situation where a woman went to the wrong address and they shot through the door and killed her. And she was a delivery person. So what are we raising? And I said, what? What are we raising? Those persons could have been, with some knowledge of who they are and where they come from, could be other people who could be community activists and anything else. But what are we raising? I'm gonna say this again. We got a young man right now. He's a kid, and he's already showing tendencies that if they don't get redirected very soon, he'll be locked into them, and then he's going to become a menace. Then what? I'm not crying for him if nothing changes, and I don't have an issue with being part of helping him change. But it's also incumbent on the parent, because they only spend a little bit of time with me. It's also the persons in his environment have to be accountable for that too, because it's where he gets it from before he comes to school. Okay. And we cannot condone that behavior. That behavior has to be crushed, because then those are the excuses that they use, the other enforcing entities use, in order to make sure, oh, look, see, this is how you act, so this is how we treat you. And we're giving them carte blanche in order to do so. The more we continue to allow the implosion from within, and we should be very clear, because most of y'all that come on here are, students to some degree of, and you study something and you look at something differently, but you need to, people around you that are not listening to these things, get them involved too, because I promise you, there are people around you that are allowing their children to be raised to be meant to be destructive in our community. And those are the ones that we got to feel, because y'all already know. I'm glad y'all come in here. It makes me happy that I have, this larger family, and I'm happy about that. But what about people that don't? What about this kid that I'm talking about? What about those families that lost their brothers and sons because they were out of order? Now you got to bury them, you got to grieve them or whatever, and they weren't attacking people that didn't look like them. They were attacking people that look like them. And what in the hell is anybody doing out during the school time at 4 o'clock in the morning, just thinking it's okay to just decide to break in somebody's house, not knowing or not paying attention to the mere fact that what people are doing now is they're arming themselves so that they can defend their homes against whatever, because the climate is dictating that. At what point in time are we not constantly reminding our children, I didn't raise you to be a dumbass? Now, are they going to do some stupid stuff? I get it, but if you're doing something that can unalive your life, then make it make sense. Breaking into somebody's house at 4 o'clock in the morning is a death sentence. Now, you go ring somebody's doorbell at 4 o'clock in the morning, okay, they're going to get pissed off. That's dumb, but the least, and they may see you, because everybody got cameras or whatever. They may see you and they may come knock on the door. And then at that point in time, hey, look, don't do it no more, because it could turn out being bad. If I come knocking on your door, I'm like, look, hey, 4 o'clock in the morning, I may be asleep, getting ready for work the next day or whatever, or it could be a weekend and I've been doing some work around the house, whatever. I need you to make sure that you don't do that no more. Now, the next time you do it for somebody like me, say, okay, then you got to come over here and do some yard work for disturbing me, whatever. That's your punishment. And then I get to breathe on them at that point in time. But people ain't thinking that. But for people, young people to have access to weapons, they can't even drink yet. But to have access to weapons, and then you all want to act like you don't know what the hell's going on in your house, then you become part of the problem too. And I'm not talking to our families here, because I think y'all know better. As a matter of fact, I know that y'all know better. But we're talking about people that don't know better and think it's okay for them to do what they want to. It's like I said, this kid's in the 2nd grade. You mean to tell me you don't know around at your home that you have this type of conversation and you don't think your kid's picking up on that? And you're not being corrective? And then if somebody talks to you, you want to be upset because somebody's telling you, I'm going to tell you, this is not the social setting for your child to think it's okay to be aggressive with other people. Now, if you want to put him in karate class, you want to put him in jujitsu, whatever, so he can learn to be a warrior that way, fine, go ahead and do that. But it's not acceptable here, because you have people that don't raise their children that way. And then out of 19, 20, 21 kids, you think I'm going to really let somebody be a terror to other children? Hell no. I'd get rid of them first. You got to go to another school. You're not going to terrorize other kids and not raised that way because you think you can. It's not that we don't see what he could be, but it's what he's doing that's out of order and in the play. Does he do it at home? Does he terrorize you at home? You talking about y'all at home? Then you keep that there. But when he comes here, he needs to learn how to change the vernacular. And if he don't, then he'll be right back with you. And it's not the issue of, oh, we have to talk to the parents, we have to talk to the principal. No, I'll make a phone call, come get your kid. I've told them more than one time, and I'm not going to talk to him every single day about his behavior. Either you help me correct his behavior, you take him somewhere else. Fine, no problem. I nobody care nothing about losing that money that come from the state and whatever, because if there's going to be order and peace in class and one person think that they can come and disturb it because they think that this is what they're supposed to do, and it's not that he's a super brilliant kid though. So what I'm saying is with the teachers and the families, we can redirect his behavior, but everybody has to get on board to redirect his behavior. Because by the time he get 13, 14, he's gonna be the kid with a gun breaking in somebody's house. I see it. If he's sitting there talking about children right now, talking about his classmates right now, what do you think he's gonna do later on? He's gonna have no issue with that. And then it's gonna be, well, I couldn't control them. Okay, then you know what the consequences are gonna be. And Sister Yogi just said that everybody got to be on the same page, and we're not. We're not. And this is exactly what the larger society in this space wants, because then we're all isolated, and if we're isolated, it's easy to pick them off. But people have to also be willing to listen. There's no way if I had my children were in school and the teachers told me that my kids is acting up this way, you think I'm not going to deal with that? I mean, hey, look, let me holler at you. Why am I hearing this? Oh, yeah. No, no, no. Because we also should be very clear. And if you're not, then you have a problem. That your children are going to act differently around you than they are when there's somebody somewhere else. They're going to do that. We did it. But we weren't doing anything. We were doing stuff that was mischievous, not destructive. Our senior year, we TP'd the whole school, and I went to Central. As big as that school was, there was a lot of toilet paper. Guess what happened? Had to happen Saturday morning before we had our graduation ceremony, get our diplomas. 6 o'clock in the morning. Guess what?
What happened?
We out there cleaning up.
Oh wow!
The whole school, all of them trees, all before they fell down and cut down. We out there picking up books and whatever. 6 in the morning, not 6:01. 6 o'clock. It wasn't no, okay, we'll get the janitors to clean up after y'all. Hell no. Y'all messed it up, you'll clean it up. And there was one single phone, but the administration made phone calls to each and every one of our parents. All 580, 536 of us that graduated. And guess what? How many? There's 536 of us out there cleaning up. And it didn't make exception who played sports and who did this and all that other stuff. No. Uh-oh, wait a minute. Somebody said something over there. Miss Deborah, there are after school programs, but we're talking about people changing their children's conduct while they're in school. The issue is from 8 to 3 or 8:30 to 3:30. You have people in school. We're in school as teachers, and we have students. Now, from 3:45 to 4 or 5 or 6 o'clock or whatever, then that's after school programs. The issue is that after school programs now, from what I'm seeing, are used for academic enrichment. There was a point in time when we had after school programs that were about man stuff and woman stuff too, just almost like we had home economics, right?
Mhm.
That would teach young men how to act, that would teach young women how to act. Not including the fact that you also had parents who knew the community, the school directors, and the other persons that were doing these programs. So it was okay for, you learn how to shave with a popsicle stick, even though and shaving cream. Learn how to tie a tie. But I learned that from my dad. But practice makes perfect, right? Uh-oh. Oh, that's a
Sign
sign
said
over there.
we falling off all the time. I get it.
Okay. All right. So we had that. So, and when we went home, they made sure that we walked home, got home safely. We're period. We don't have that anymore because of budget cuts and whatever else, or in all actuality, people putting that money in their pockets. So the programs got cut. We don't have money for schools or whatever. Now, Sister Yogis mentions the school and prison pipeline. Okay, but that takes parents to, number one, raise their children. Number two, make sure that their children have the abilities and capabilities and the basic knowledge when they go to school, and then enforce it. And number three, then be able to go in and take control of the school because you have a right to. You have a right to. You have a right to be a voice in it, but a lot of people are scared to go in and think they're supposed to challenge the school. No, the school is it's a community school. That means it's there for not only the child but the parents as well. The community school initiative that was implemented here in this city first, before it went all around the country and Japan and everywhere else. And I remember that happening. Yeah, community school directors, you had other persons that worked with them that was almost a full staff of teachers. So it wasn't a teacher stayed over. It was we went home, the teachers went home, and another group of people came in from the community that knew your parents better than you did. And they would teach these other classes. And then on Friday, we used to have it called Teen Club. And then on Friday, it was quarter movie and skate, or quarter movies and skating. But Monday through Thursday, before you did any other activity, you had study hall. Everybody to go in the classrooms, get out your homework, practice some other stuff, everything else. And then after that, about an hour or so, you had another hour where you can go play and skate and all this other stuff and play around and everything else. And then at 6:30, you sent home. Even in the wintertime when it would get dark. But they made sure we got home. They wouldn't put us in the car, but because they didn't care. No, you ain't getting in my car. But we'll walk and drive slow to make sure you got home. And I'm in elementary. I remember this. Friday was the auditorium. They showed movies for a quarter and popcorn. And then in the gym, they had skating. Friday, we didn't have to do nothing academic then. It was fun. And those persons got paid because the money was there. The money's there. It's people are putting it in their pocket. And see the difference between, and I'm going to go back to this comment Miss Yogi said, Sister Yogi said, okay, you have to remember that when we talk about schools like that are in China and Japan and other schools like that, theirs is based on a culture. We don't have no culture here. Let's be real clear. There's no culture here. We don't live a culture here. We live a hodgepodge of things that we call a culture, but it's not really a culture. Because the culture says that we have some morals and mores in which we live and act and conduct ourselves with each other. And we don't have that anymore. That's getting killed. That's getting, well, like I said, we sit around here and the schools don't teach us our history. Why are you work? That's your job. That's your job, not the school's job. I teach math and science. I'm going to always implement some history in there because I'm a historian as well. But it should come from home first. I shouldn't have to teach your kid how to read. It's your job. I shouldn't have to teach your kid the basic facts. How to write letters, ABCs, 1, 2, 3s. That's your job. If you give it to me, and I'm saying this as a scholar and as a Pan-Africanist, if you give it to me, you think I'm going to do that? That's not my child. I will help. But it's not my job to start from the beginning to teach this kid the ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. That's your job. You should be doing that. I can support. That's my job. You're going to have them for way far longer than I am. And I'm saying this even as a Pan-Africanist who believe in what we are and who we are. But not all of us, because all of us can't be there, and I don't want all of us to be there. But some of us ain't worth a damn. But it's not my job to sit there and start to teach them because I wasn't there at the beginning. If I'm there at the beginning, which meant I'd have what, a couple 100 million children, that we wouldn't have a whole lot of these issues. But if people start to make sure, oh, well, I don't check on their homework, I don't do that. Well, guess what? They're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. Disciplinary action was taken out of the schools because there was a Jewish boy down in Birmingham here in Michigan who went to the ACLU, and then that's how they had prayer and corporal punishment taken out of schools. But if we even look at that, corporal punishment was directed more at African children in America than it was at anybody else. This kid was a menace. He ended up going to jail later on in his life. But the disciplinary action has to come from home. Will you discipline your child at home? So the school ain't got to worry about that. There's going to be some mischief, absolutely. Oh man, Brother Elliott was caught, throwing pencils up in the ceiling. But he an A student. I'm telling you, that was me. Brother Elliott was making paper airplanes, but he got all his damn work done. He an A student. Hey, Mr. McCants, well, we need to talk to you about your son. What'd he do? He making paper airplanes. Okay, what's his grades? He got, is this marking period? Okay, I'll tell him don't make paper airplanes. And when I got home, I got a hard clap on the back and say, hey, look, don't do that dumb shit no more. Find something else to do. And I did. I didn't get in trouble for the same damn thing. But we have to take control and have accountability. And I just see the word right there. I was just looking at that. Okay. Because if you allow the school district to raise your child, they're going to prison. I'm telling you right now, they're going to prison. You understand? It's not their job to make your child competitive with their children. It's not their job. Stop thinking it's our job to turn this person into the. No, that's your job. You created him or her. That's your job. Our job is to help mold the cake. That's it. And I'm telling you this as a parent and as a teacher and an educator and a historian. We have to work together, but it's your job to do most, because even if they spend in 8 hours at a school, for the position I'm in now, they only spend an hour with me, and it's not an hour every day. I know what I do and what I bring, but I'm not there more time than not, if that makes sense. So the accountability falls upon us working together. And I'm not trying to put the onus on one group more than up, but that's what it is. That's exactly what it is. It's not just, oh, well, well, I had the child and the child's father not in their life. Okay, now begrudging that. Yeah. How and the question becomes, how can we help? Not how can I take over? Because that's not my job to take over. Because if I take over, that means all the benefits that come with me taking over the child comes to me. That means money, resources, everything else. Drop the kid off, I got him. But I want to get paid for my work. And because our community is so fractured in elements and is destructive, we can't rely on that. We have to rebuild our community so that we can encompass and cocoon our children. And Purple Lily Hayes, you're absolutely right. Sister Yogi G said the same thing. But at the same time, we don't need village idiots to be in there either. And if you do have a village idiot in there, that person needs to be shown this is what you don't be. This is what you don't act this way. You don't do these things. That's the person you avoid being like. They may seem cool. You're going to run across them and talk to them and all that other stuff because they're around. But do you want to be like this person? No. But we don't point that out because it's bad. No, it's not. Point it out. This person's a dumbass. Don't be like them. And if you be like them, don't come around me. Oh, this person's out here having behaviors that's not conducive to being raised. Look at them. Look, watch it. Look, you want to do that? You want to be like that? Want to go hang out with them? And if they do, let them go. Because there's something in that person's spirit, that child's spirit, that young person's spirit, that wants to go experience that. You may not be able to stop that. And I'm not saying condone it. But they want to go experience that. And that's fine. But there are consequences for the experience. And we have to tell them that. And we don't. Because we want to be nice and our children's friend. It's not your job to be that I got my son's 24. I have daughters that are 30s, stuff like that, late 30s. They're my children. Now, they're adopted. They call me dad. Or they're not biologically mine. I'm not their friend. We don't be up there kicking it like, hey, buddy, let's go to such and such. I got a nephew that's 41, 42. He's my nephew. He's a mechanic and a damn good one. But I'm not his friend. I'm his uncle. My sister always used to tell me that you can never do anything that will destroy how he sees you in his life. And I don't. Because that's who I am anyway. And even if I'm gone and up somewhere and away from school or away from where I'm at, I still conduct myself the same way because I hold a special position in the world. And I know that I do. I'm not like these people that'll sit around here and get on there and do some dumb shit and then want to cry in front of y'all talking about it wasn't me. Can y'all forgive me? Like some of these pastors and preachers that y'all TV Jimmy Swaggarts and all these other clowns that still want you to send their money, and Marvin Saps and Marvin Winans and all of these other clowns that sit around there and want you to continue to send their money because that's how I make my living off you. I do a different level of God's work. And Miss Deborah, from the sounds of it, you said you changed your daughter's schools because you felt that they weren't being challenged. Then there's two options. Instead of changing schools, you go tell your teachers, hey, look, her teachers, she's not being challenged enough. I need you to give her more difficult work. I don't care nothing about where the pace of other students at. I want this for my child. And you have the right to do that as a parent, as a community member. Good. And then, and like I say, when people talk about resources, you're looking at one. So there's a way to get in touch with me for me to be able to send resources to people. You got an email, you can get it from Uncle Mick, and I'll send you what I got. And I got a lot. But we have to take control of our households. We have to take control of our homes. We have to take control of our children. Because if not, you got another group of people who will police your children. And when you have a child that has an aggressive behavior, that's cool. Redirect that aggressive behavior towards something because he's a warrior. Well, they all are. They all are. I promise you they are. But they have to be what's going on in their head has to be redirected in a manner that's going to get them somewhere else. Look, if you're going to be a warrior, cool. I don't have no issue with that. But I need to arm you with information as well as this other stuff later on when you're old enough to be able to handle that. But I'm going to arm you with some information to know that so that I know that you can to protect and defend yourself. My dad did that with me when I was 12. He gave me the autobiography of Malcolm X. And I started reading. I didn't understand it at first. I started reading it. But then there was some other stuff that happened that the teachers would call. And I'm like, okay, well, you're only giving one side of the history. You're only giving one version of history. Boy, don't nobody want to just listen to that. And at that point in time, my dad started giving me other books to read. And at that point in time, I started to take those books to school. And when I started taking those books to school and I'd rereading them after I finished my work, instead of doing dumb stuff like making a paper airplanes and throwing them in class or shooting paper spitballs through straws to see how far or who I could hit to be a nuisance. At that point now, there was a different fire. Now when I go into class, I'm challenging what the teacher's saying, right? And it's one thing for people to have young people to come and challenge a teacher's knowledge because they have knowledge. But it's a whole nother thing for young people to come and challenge a teacher because they're looking for laughs. And they're looking for ways to gain popularity. That's a disruption, and it becomes destructive to the learning process in school for other children. And it's unfair to other children. Well, I'm just coming in here because I don't like the teacher. Oh, let me say that too. Let me get this to y'all heads. It's always hearing, and this is what a child uses to deflect the fact that they're not putting in any effort into their learning, that the teacher don't like me. Ladies and gentlemen, please understand this. I don't give a damn. I love doing what I do, and I love working with the young people that I have in front of me. It's not my job to like them. My job is to make sure that they get whatever lesson that I'm going to give and make it applicable to something else later on that they'll see in their life, and hopefully they'll retain the lesson somewhere in the back of their head and don't think it's just fun. And I had fun doing whatever we just did, and it was just fun. But I didn't get the understanding behind it that I should have because I was having fun. And when you hear that, it is inherent that depending upon where and who and how, that's an irrelevant idea. Because there are times, and I'm a parent and I'm guilty of it too, but it is what it is. And my parents are guilty of it too. That it is what it is, that you don't even like your own children. I mean, you don't love them. Understand what I'm talking about, where I'm coming from. Okay. We have with our children, that don't mean we don't love them, but there are days and moments we don't like their asses. And y'all know that. All of us. You don't like your child. I don't like my child. That's it. Uncle Mick don't like his children sometimes. That's just part of what it is. That don't mean we don't love them. But if you think that you're excusing your child's either misbehavior or not desiring to do the work that's necessary that they're required to do, if you, the teacher don't like me, well, let's go up there and jump on the teacher. Man, you better get your ass out here and go sit the fuck down somewhere. If you come up there with me, you're gonna have a problem. It ain't my job to like your kid. That's your job. But my job is to teach. And my job is to make sure in the 45, 55, 60 minutes that I have enough order in class in order for us to be able to teach the lesson. They understand what we're doing, and then we go from there. Not, the teacher don't like me. I don't. So I'm gonna be angry at the teacher for not liking me. You all act like we don't. We supposed to be robots and stuff and come in every single day and let's love everybody. That's a bunch of bullshit. Don't believe that dumb shit. So don't buy that excuse from them. What are you doing in school? Are you getting the lesson? That's it. Period. I can't even imagine us going to school, our children, these children now that we're raising in cotton candy land, going to school when I went to school, when Uncle Mick went to school, and some of y'all that are near our age went to school. And we knew the teachers didn't like that. That wasn't the hell what they was there for, and that wasn't what we was there for. We wasn't there for them to like us. Where the hell we get this stupid shit from? Where did we get this from that somebody got to like us? The people that formerly owned us didn't like you. And they still don't. So where we get this thing from that we got to go into a school, I can act up, I cannot do my work, I can make excuses and not have reasons and all this other shit. And the fact is that person still got to like me for being a dumbass. Nope, not at all. I don't have to do that. And thank you. And Miss Hendricks, I appreciate that. The fact that your child is there to learn. What did you learn today? How many people ask their children what did they learn today when they got home from school? Oh, but the child come home talking about, well, such and such did, and the teacher didn't like that. Well, I don't give a shit. What did you learn? When I would go to parent conferences when my children in school, your children act a certain way. Don't fucking tell me how my kids act. I know how my children act. I raised them. What are they doing academically? And what are you teaching them academically so I'm aware? I don't need you to tell me how my children were doing. And they bet not come home telling me something about somebody didn't like them. I tell them all the time, it's not their job to like you. Your job is go in and get the goddamn lesson. That's it. Stop doing that dumb shit. The only people that gotta like them is them and you, not me. I love doing what I'm doing. So like is relative. But I'd be damned if you want to sit around there and say, well, the teacher don't like me, so they hard on me. Yeah, but you're raising them hard on you. You ain't doing shit. Got a young lady right now who's a sixth grader. She ain't doing her assignments. I get on her ass every day. I don't get my assignments. Oh, but I had to do this. I don't give a shit about what the hell you had to do. If you ain't in there performing brain surgery every night, get your goddamn work done. Because there's a lesson in it. The lesson is put your work in, put your effort in, put the work in. So that ain't not liking her. I don't give a damn about liking her. What I give a damn about is you do what is required of you so you can learn how to be scholarly. That's the most important thing. Not liking. Y'all get that shit from. There's some of us that don't even like us sometimes when we wake up every damn day. So stop. That's dumb. But if you're not controlling the narrative of what's going on in your home, then you have what you have with the teenagers going out and being destructive in the community. And then you got 6 funerals. And then family want to be an outrage and sue one of the homeowners for defending their home. Yeah, get your stupid asses out of here. I was just sent a little Instagram notification this morning by one of my brothers who was like one of the persons who was going in the community stealing packages from off the people's porch, and she wanted to go sue them because she got painted blue because you was doing some dumb shit. And you know what the judge did? Threw that shit out. Get the hell out of my courtroom. You're wrong. Frivolous, dumb shit like that. And the lawyer should be disbarred for taking that stupid shit. But not being offensive, it was a white woman. So she was crying about some stupid shit that she did in the first place by invading someone else's home, taking their property, and then when it blew up in her face, literally, she wanted to go sue. You was wrong as hell. Get the hell out of my courtroom. I couldn't have been a boy. What? I should have went to law school and become a judge. You could imagine the stuff coming through my courtroom. I think some of these judges is bad, man. I would have been horrible. I don't like you. Guilty. I don't even want to hear this shit. Bye. How much time you get? As a matter of fact, one of the judges that I have, we formed a relationship where instead of the person that came in front of him didn't have his diploma or his GED, he'd send them to me. Hey man, I want you to make sure they get a certain length of time in order to get their GED. If they come back to me and they don't have their GED, they're going to get their full sentence. And when they put the work in and they got their diploma, okay, you free to go. Huh? Yeah, you free to go. Bye. That's the stuff that's important. Now, somebody got to like me. No. And we already have elements in our community where schools are looking at children's 3rd and 4th grade reading levels. And then from there, legislators are saying, okay, we can take this group of students and we can turn them into the school to prison pipeline. Or if you have a school that is not giving its best effort to educate the children, number one, that has to take place at home. And number two, then you can control the school by going to the school and demanding some different things. And if there are elements in the school that don't belong there, they can be removed. Whether it be adults working there as teachers, or whether it be young people there being disruption in school. How in the world is it okay for a woman and her son to get beat up by a group of young people sent to the hospital all because they want to make this boy go to be part of their gang? That's cool. And we're the people that they're supposed to defend her and the community. Now you got people making sure that they're walking that same path. Sorry, where she lived at to make sure that incident don't happen again. But how does how does the people that did it, and they know who the young 10 or 12 young people that jumped on her and her son, they know who they are. How they gonna pay? Or you'll be a toilet scrubbing, leaf raking, grass cutting, snow shoveling ass. And parents should not be okay with that happening. And then you want to defend the child for that. No, no, no. We used to play football in the summertime, all up and down the street. And when the neighbors would complain about us trampling the grass, guess who had to go cut it? That don't mean that we wasn't. We just found another street. We knew we didn't brought the lawnmowers later on because we knew that we was going to have to cut grass because we ran around, tackle on the grass and touch on the street. That's what we had to do. We had to go cut the grass. So when the grass started to grow back on the other street, we go back over there after a couple weeks. You know, but what we doing? They wasn't complaining because they would watch us, but they would complain about us running on their grass. The consequence was we had to take some of our Saturday, not when it was cool in the morning or cooling off in the evening, but during the hot ass part of the day, and go over there and cut the damn grass. Because who told you to keep on playing on their yard? But since that's what y'all want to do, and you don't want to listen, here's a consequence. Where's this bullshit we getting from that there are no consequences? That people don't have to suffer anything or have some things taken from them in order for us to, understand there was some order. That is also going in our community. But we want to raise pretty boys and pretty girls that have raggedy fucking attitudes and think that that's okay. Not understanding, like I said, that this little boy could be a warrior, but you're not putting things in his head and reordering his thinking so that he could become a scholar, so he could become another Malcolm, so he could become another King, so he could become another Marcus Garvey, because it's in him. But yet talking about people got roaches and this and that and their family, this and that and another, and dogging people out, me mugging teachers. Come on now. Accountability starts at home all the time. The first teachings come from home all the time. One of my brothers, who's a historian in Detroit, loved this brother. All his children he got three children that are going to be doctors. One is in England on a Rhodes scholarship, even though he knows about Cecil Rhodes, but he took the money. Most people don't even know about that. I'm a Rhodes scholar. Yeah, but who is Cecil Rhodes and what did he do? That don't mean that I take the money. But at the same time, I understand what he did and how destructive he was. That's a whole nother debate. I ain't no way, shape, or form I would ever be mad if my child did something out of order and they paid for it. Yep. Okay. So you know what I'm talking about. Concrete jungle. Yep. And that's the behavior. That's that. What do we call that behavior? Oh my goodness, I forgot what we call that behavior. Hood infected by HIV. That's the HIV behavior. Hood infected virus. So it's okay for your children to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, get weapons, and go break into somebody's house for fun, but it wasn't okay for the person that owned the home to defend it. And the parents want to be mad because you didn't know your child left the house at 4 o'clock in the morning. I understand your child lost their life and you're upset. We get that. That's clear. But how come you didn't know that they had weapons and they're was breaking out of the house at 4 o'clock in the morning? That's no different than the parents in Columbine when that first thing popped off in Colorado. How in the world do you not know your children are building or got weapons in your house and doing certain stuff? Fuck that privacy. I pay the bills here. You ain't got no goddamn privacy in my house. You get your own house, you do what the fuck you want to. But right now, while you're here, you don't get no privacy. Don't go through your shit. It don't matter to me. This is my space. Well, now that goes back to what we've been talking about the whole time, the whole premise of the show, right? The letters of Willie Lynch. And I don't care nothing about y'all scholars that sit around and say that didn't exist and that didn't exist and all this other stuff didn't exist and it was made up. The system is there. Good morning, family. Thank you for joining us. And if the system's there, then of course we're acting through the system. But at the end of the day, what do we do that's different? Okay, so let me give you a few tips. On that note, we can shut it down.
Are you good?
Okay, I'm gonna get the tips and then we can rock.
I got you.
Yeah, because I know you got things to do too. And we're gonna get back pretty soon to having our full hour and a half show. Okay, because right now things have been a little bit. Uncle Mick has been helping family out, and I have as well. Number one, being accountable. Whatever that should look like. No excuses. That's number two. No excuses. And no reasons. And asking important questions about how was your day? Did you help anybody else? Instead of saying, well, how'd you do in school? You can ask that too. You can definitely ask how'd you do in school. But we have to change that. And I'm not, because typically when I was growing up, it was, how would you do in school? So, I ain't heard nothing from your teachers. But you know what happens with teachers? After a while, when we don't get a response from parents, we stop fucking calling. I'm going to keep calling for and I get the same thing. You don't answer the phone because you know it's me calling either from my phone or from the school about how your child acted. Even I might call and say, man, they did a wonderful job. But you won't even answer the phone for that. And all the time the messages are full, so I can't leave a message. Which is crazy. Because you ain't that damn busy. Accountability. No reasons or no excuses. Understanding that the only people that gotta like you is the person that you come through. If your relationship with the father or the father's relationship with the mother is irrelevant. What is relevant is that the child is ordered. And if you do have a child that is different in how they act, how they carry themselves, whatever, don't walk around here and let them have HIV. Put things in front of them that are going to show, number one, let them listen to speeches of Malcolm, of Martin, whoever, whatever you can get, and let them listen to them. Let them listen to some other music too. And even if those of us that are here, we have other people that we're around, let them listen, baby. We in my car, we listen to this. Oh, we don't want to hear that. I don't give a shit what you want to hear. This is my car. There'll be times we'll be in my truck and my son and my nephew, we listen to Public Enemy. And they go, oh man, this is right. Okay. No, then they'll listen to their stuff, which I like the music, but the words are trash.
Mm.
The message is garbage. Music is on point, but the message is garbage. But on the other side of that, they also had to listen to me when they were younger and coming up. Malcolm and Martin and Public Enemy and Brand Nubian and X Clan. That's all they listened to, Paris. So they ain't had no choice to listen to that. And those persons that continue to desire to have HIV, then they need to be outcast in the community. There's a behavior that we don't follow. And we're not saying don't give the young people an opportunity to change their lives and behavior. But how long is it going to take? We need to right now, as critical as things are now, it needs to be right now. It can't be, when you get 75, 80 years old, now you want to change your behavior. You don't mean shit now. You've been a menace all of this time. There's got to be a point in time when we cut off and say, you ain't showing that you're willing to change your behavior by the time you're 13, 14 years old. You're an outcast till you show otherwise. Man, I think that is absolutely horrible. They come in the school, whether they drop them off or pick them up, they smell like weed because you just want to do what you want to do and not be concerned about. Now, this is my position about that. If I was an administrator, you can't bring your damn kids in here smelling like that. I don't give a damn what you do, but don't come here smelling like that. That's what we have to say. We're going to step on your toes because that's called being accountable. That's called being accountable. If you bring your child in here like this, then I'm going to tell you, do you need some help? Oh, you just smoke because you want to smoke. I get it. But when you're in a school setting, you can't come in here. And it's almost every single day. I come in, I get a contact from giving somebody some dap. They come to pick that kid up. Damn, bro, what you want to? What cologne is that? I'll be on some bull. I know what it is. Oh, Unc. Okay, but they ain't no Unc. You're in this fucking public school setting. Get your dumb ass out of here with that. But see, you have people that's, well, I don't want to offend them. I don't give a damn about offending you. Bro, you walking in here, picking up your child going to sit in your car. They going to get. So then when I send your kid home for acting up, you don't say shit to me. Don't say nothing to me because you're the cause of it. You're the cause of it. You're the cause of your child coming in here. You come in here smelling like weed, and then your child figure, well, that's cool, so I can act this way, even though they may not smoke. But then when they get in the car gonna smell like weed. So then you're already giving your child the opportunity to say, I can kind of sort of do what I want to. So once again, when we say this woman, and I don't agree with videotaping, whooping your kid ass, and then putting it on social media. That's dumb. Because people, we like to do HIV things like that, right? Where and in one sense, it's really to show that that's out of order. But in another sense, what people want to say is, oh, well, you shouldn't have to do that to your kid. But to the so-called larger authority here, y'all kill our children, used to beat the shit out of people. So don't say a goddamn thing about now you morally right, but you still out of order because you're not morally right. And number two, if you whoop your kid ass, don't videotape that shit. Don't videotape. Just whoop their ass and go on about your way because they was out of order. And there have been a couple incidents lately. A woman found her son that was 14 years old and smoking, and then a man found his daughter in a bedroom with a 14. She was 13, 14. He was 13, 14. He whooped her ass. You're supposed to. You ain't got to put it out there, though. There ain't none of nobody's business. And see, we want to do that. And part of it is to show how things used to be, but that's not how people take it. Part of it is this is what we should be doing to correct some behavior when they out of order, but that's not how people taking it now. So don't put it out there. If you're gonna whip your child ass for being out of order, don't have nobody else, because the girl with the mother, no, the son with the mother had a family member secretly recording it, and then they broadcast it live. That motherfucker was out of order for doing that. Excuse my French, this Sunday morning. Because Tuesday, we getting ready to get into y'all in this Thanksgiving, y'all getting ready to celebrate. And it's Black Friday. So yeah, y'all getting ready to get that on Tuesday. Okay, so get ready. But the person that was videotaping, they had their phone up to their chest like this and was secretly recording it while this girl was correcting her, some young lady was correcting her son because her son was out of order. So they have, he's smoking 14, he's smoking weed in the house. And she don't smoke. She don't do none of that. So they put her, whoever the person is, friend, whatever, put her out there for correcting her son's behavior. Now, the other one, the dad put a big emoji in front of the video, but it was clear that he was tearing his ass up because of what that boy was doing. Now, both of them, but the dad, both the known recording, which was the father, was this is how we have to correct this behavior when they're out of order. The other one was corrective behavior, but there was no permission to record it. Oh, there we go. See, she was an educator and teacher of the year. Right. So when her son was out of order, she corrected the behavior, but what happened was somebody in her family decided to record it, or a friend decided to record it and then put her out there. They didn't have a right to do it. I'd sue the shit out of them. And you would never be my friend if you did some shit like that as you over in my house and you did something like that in order to make me look some sort of way because I'm correcting my child's behavior and you're recording it. Man, you might get your ass whooped too. I tell you to do that. You didn't have permission. Now the father did it because he wanted to show, but you could tell he was cussing his boy out, told him to stand over there and hold the couch, and he whooped his ass. Don't run off because you want to be grown. This ass, you're gonna get your ass tightened up. And I know, we shouldn't corporal punish our kids. Man, sometimes a good ass whooping is the greatest correction ever. And I think all of us we're pretty decent people. I know I got it. And I'm not quite sure most of y'all on here got it too. So that didn't turn us into hardened people that we was out there destroying the world because my parents whooped my ass. No, as a matter of fact, that stopped a whole bunch of dumb shit. My old man told me about a cigarette boy. I was done. That little bit of shit I thought I was doing, I was finished with. I ain't trying to be nobody's cigarette boy. No excuses, no reasons, accountability, pointing out what type of behavior you're not going to carry, finding other people to help as best they can. If there's a relationship, a decent enough or cordial enough relationship, or even being able to speak and have some sort of cordiality with the other parent, that they're involved in the life as well. Or sometimes, hey, drop the kids off over there, man. Whether it be man raising the children or a woman raising the children, help them off to the other side. Then, man, you got them for a while. And if the behavior is out of order, see, this is what I don't want you to do. And then we have to surround ourselves with people that have the same mindset we do. It may not sound like they do, or they may sound like they do, but then really don't. But after a while, you'll see, because it always show. Well, we gave y'all what, 15 more minutes after that?
Yeah.
Okay. So those are some notes for our school-age children. On Tuesday, though, we're gonna have fun with Tuesday.
For sure.
Yeah. So hey, y'all tell Uncle Mickey got to find our music back, cause I don't know.
I got it, man. I just
I'm teasing,
when I got here, I had to find the background and everything. I don't know what done changed up. I opened up the wrong one, but I got us.
Okay. I'm teasing. That's my brother. So, all right, family. We love y'all. Thank you all for joining us today. We will see you all on Tuesday. Have a good evening.
Peace.
Peace.